transformation for systemic and sustainable innovation. We are talking about an educational project grounded for major transformation axis, sustainability axis, which took shape over the years and is today a reality. We expanded and updated. It's not getting bigger, but more and more meaningful. And we, the Nazareth staff, relate more and more to it. And many people not only got the training and embraced the Nazareth project, but developed their own one from the tools we provided them with. So here we are with the fourth transformation, learning spaces, that we organized in physical, digital and cultural. As for physical spaces, we realized over time that we need those learning experiences called seminars. We need moments of explanation, we call campfires, where somebody explains us something for 10 minutes, with a video maybe, physical spaces in a circular setting, a circular environment intended for listening to each other and to one speaker. This type of learning calls for spaces of exchange and co-creation, where we are together with other people in the so-called fountain spaces. We had to change the desk arrangement as well. Single desks were to be joined together, and we had to buy furniture to facilitate cooperative learning. To learn, we need to have moments for ourselves as well, to reflect, to wonder, to self-assess. We need spaces we call caves. It's not always easy to lay out these spaces, but we arrange them in any corner of the building or outdoors, on the ground. They're spaces to help students to live a metacognition moment, to create their life project. In these physical spaces, it's important for us to have talking walls, walls where we hang documents to make learning visible. We desire to communicate what we do, how we do it, and how we reflect on what we're doing. We use the walls to communicate who we are, what's our identity, what matters for us. And also we communicate our good work and how it's done by our students and teachers. Let's watch a video about one of the classroom, or better said, one of the learning communities we have created over the last 4 to 5 years in kindergarten, that we call Flow. There's a worldwide revolution in education. We're building educational spaces in 58 countries. Every school is different. Every learning culture is different. But they all coincide in wanting learning spaces capable to attract students, to awaken their imagination. There are milestones in the educational project. We have the educational theory, and schools which decide to invest in this educational project will change their interior design. They will also integrate technology and multimedia. All these elements are part of our children's universe. A child starting kindergarten today will graduate in 2031. The economic project set out in 2015 showed 10 essential skills for 2020. One of the most relevant skills is cognitive flexibility. It's about switching between different learning abilities because the world and all areas change quickly. Other important skills are collaboration, creativity, and emotional intelligence, which this school highlights strongly. So, how can we achieve these skills in a 60 square meter classroom? It's impossible. That's the reason why everything is changing so fast. Teachers cannot work in such a space either. What you're going to see today in this school are the so-called learning communities. Children are not assigned to a class only, but to the entire community, where they share the space and skills that were ignored in the past. If they see adults helping each other out, children will learn to be cooperative. It's amazing to see how these children evolve, and that this is actually happening, it's not fiction. It's true that 3, 4, 5-year-olds can create these learning communities in multimodal spaces with a lot of resources. When we say resources, we don't only mean conceiving, designing material. The main resource are our teachers. Such resources exist in the Montserrat School, but in other countries too, such as Timor-Leste, a very poor country, as well in Cameroon and Africa. It's not about material resources, but human resources. Now, let's move on to digital spaces. We learned to build the digital structure, the first level in external communication, social networks, websites, emails to families. Then another level, internal communication, corporate emails, communication with our teaching community, archives, and a third level related to platforms, to learning opportunities. These platforms are interactive. A fourth level, the personal learning environment, both for students and teachers. Over the years, teachers learn, and by the way, I'd say the pandemic played a major role here. So teachers learn to face the challenge of blended learning and of how learning is customized through digital tools, virtual classrooms, and through what we call learning landscapes. Now, how do we build a virtual classroom? Well, we take into account teachers, the social aspect, and the cognitive side. We are in a learning process where our students, physically in the classroom, experience a much more autonomous learning, a more self-guided learning. They can co-create because teachers work in a different way in the classroom. Technology helps a lot with what we call blended learning. Moodle is a virtual learning environment. For students, it's like an interactive book containing their subject content, multiple audiovisual resources, and a few assignments scheduled in a calendar. An example, Spanish language in Year 10. This is the landing page of a Year 10 student. Let's click on Spanish language. This visual illustrates the learning environment. It's an interactive map. It has to be relevant to the student and sum up the subject goal in one image. Here the rocket is Year 10. It will fly them to Year 11. Here represented by the moon. It will take off at the end of term. Moon landing will be the final achievement, one step to Year 12 and 13, A-levels. Here students find all necessary information to study a subject. Here they can see the year terms, the general planning of the academic year, and the recommended reading list, recommended by teachers. By clicking on each link, students access another visual page, another map. The content gets more and more specific as they click through. Let's click on Reading List. Here students find this subject recommended reading list, instructions as to how they should read the books and the related assignments. They can also click on the general planning, which tells them about target, teachers, assessment criteria for Year 10 Spanish language. It works as any website. By clicking on the link, students are directed to other visuals, other maps, and to more focused content. If here we click on the first term, we land on another page, another map, showing information about this term. Students can click on sessions, resources, and information provided by teachers. Here the term is split in 4 major axes: syntax, oral and written expression, spelling, and the term project. Let's click on the radio project. Here we land on another visual, much more specific. It gives all information about this project. Here we have the project presentation, detailing the full project in a PDF. We have resources such as websites and other audiovisual or multimedia reference material added by the teacher, the calendar scheduling all lessons, the project sessions. This project is organized in 5 units that allows students to progress in their knowledge autonomously. Working with Moodle has some advantages. For a student, it's much more attractive to access subject information through maps and visuals, like a video game. Then, visuals are very clear, and it's easy for students to see the subject structure and how the items are arranged. Also, these learning landscapes enable students to work more independently because they are responsible to get organized individually and as a group. Finally, they enable students to know their strengths and weaknesses and be able to self-manage. This is what we call metacognition. And now, cultural spaces. We aim to be professional learning communities where human capital is valued, where everyone is unique, where we bolster this human capital with social capital that helps us to share, to trust each other, to be the professional learning community we want to be able to take decisions as teachers. In a professional learning community, we work rigorously and we wish to give the best of ourselves. When everybody can take decisions, well, I would say there is trust among teachers, students, families, and the management team, who was a driver of change, by the way. But the management team are now diluted because they have already given the impulse to get things going. Such an educational project is organic. An organic project where many create. We work in a network, we live in a network, and share leadership in a network. In these cultural spaces, the Nazareth values come to life. It's a safe space where families, via tripod learning, take part in their children's learning. We make this space safe to always protect children, teenagers and teachers. The school opens its doors to partake in the new approaches to integral ecology. A school to enjoy, a school to create, a school where everybody wants to be part of the project because it goes beyond their horizon. Let's watch now a video about cultural spaces. The Self and Coach tool was created during lockdown, stemming from the idea of weekly goals. Based on the goals and values we worked on during lockdown, students reflect alone and then share their thoughts with their family. Then we got together for some tutoring. We shared the weekly goals. This year, we gave this tool a shape. We made it easy to use. It goes along with a diary and is used on a weekly basis. Self and Coach helps students to get to know themselves, their development through goals and mental patterns. First thing, we set the weekly goal. This girl's goal was to say please and thank you. So we write it down and look at the obstacles. Then we think of which target or items can help us reach our goal. Well, I must not lose focus when I'm at my desk. So in order to do that, I'll focus on what I'm doing and pretend my friends are not there. On Monday morning, we spend some time on the Self and Coach book. Well, I have to work on my temper, so during the week I check what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing okay, and think on. It's about reflecting on what we do. During the week, we get to remember our goal and how to reach it. Then, on Friday afternoon, we reflect on our goal. Then, on Friday, we fill out another paper and see if we improved or not. And we say if we are proud of ourselves or not, that we like doing that. We ask ourselves 4 basic questions. How did I feel during the week? What did I find difficult to do? Where did I need help? Did I feel proud of myself at some point? To round off the Self and Coach job, students take the book home at the weekend, and here families get in with us. Self and Coach is like homework. We have to reflect on what we do at home, because we have to better ourselves at school and at home. When I first got the book home on a Friday and I saw Self and Coach, I was confused. Who is Self and who is Coach? But I found the name interesting and got curious about it. My daughter Victoria explained what Self and Coach is about. She opened the book to page 1. Basically, I had nothing to do but listen. She told me that week was particularly tough. I was surprised by her openness. She never approached it as an exam. She was just putting her week in perspective and was able to say, hey, that was not as easy as I expected. Then I saw that there were some questions I had to answer to give my viewpoint on the challenge, to say how I was living it in my family. So we discussed about it, about how I saw that. It's now like a habit. Every Friday after tea, we sit down with Self and Coach and we share a nice moment about a topic that moves away from a traditional subject. We talk about herself. In primary school, we work with Self and Coach book differently. Little children need more help and guidance from their tutor. With older children, we can open a debate to let them reflect together. All the emotions I feel, so I know how I feel every day. It's easier to remember it if I write it down on paper. Some tasks are more difficult and I can't accomplish them. Other ones are easier. It's about reflecting on something you have done. You think of what you can do better and of what you have to keep on doing. When we say, I need to be more patient, and she asked me, you too, Mom, how are you doing with this patience issue? And we switch roles naturally. I end up questioning myself too about these challenges. It's a very beautiful exchange. Both of us can get to know each other in a different way. Well, we come to the end of this presentation about the 4 transformation axes. It's a pleasure to convey the joy and the enjoyment of seeing how an educational project is nurtured by the educational community, how it becomes emergent learning, and we don't know how far it will bring us. But we do know that it helps with individuation, which is a plus in the work with students, and it's a plus in the way students prepare their life project and develop their personal learning plan day after day. An educational project everybody can partake in. We believe that we've been building step by step. We can say that contributing with our grain of sand, laying the first bricks, we can build a cathedral. We never stopped at the foundations. Thank you very much. I hope that seeing every transformation in depth was of help, and that you can see how, when working in a network with all our schools or various institutions, we'll be able to create a new network and generate the social friendship that Pope Francis asks of us, with new alliances, new projects, providing answers to today's society and to the uncertainty that often blocks us. Let's help each other to create an educational project together that goes far and beyond every single one of us. Thank you very much.